Viewers, fellow Guyanese, good evening. I am taking this opportunity to update all of you on the progress we have made as a government. Now, I have noticed some editorials and some other commentary that always seek to minimize what the People's Progressive Party civic government is about and what we do. As you know, since we came to office, our policy has been pursuing initiatives that put more money in people's pocket, that create and expand employment, that foster an environment for building of prosperity for all, and ensuring that we build a strong, resilient, and sustainable economy, one in which all of Guyana will prosper. It is necessary, though, that I remind all of you, all of us, for a matter of fact, of the tremendous gains in less than 3 years that the People's Progressive Party Civic has brought to this country. And it's important that I do this because those with the power of the ink in their hand can create a narrative that suits a particular interest. And in time, that ink fades away. And when that ink fades away and it dries and it flakes, then you see the intent behind what was written. But if you allow time to elapse and that ink to fade, it will have already created the impression it sought to create. That is why we must address the falsehood of narrative sometimes. In less than 3 years, we have almost completed the implementation of our manifesto. Yes, we brought back the Because We Care cash grant. Not only did we restore it, but we increased it. We've eliminated taxes on cell phone and data. This was not part of the promise. So when you speak about how the ordinary people benefit from policies and programs, first of all, we have to understand policies and programs. Who is it that benefits from the restoration of the Because We Care grant? Who is it that benefits from the elimination of taxes on cell phone and data? It is the population that benefits. Data has become an important part of our daily lives. Cell phones is not only to make calls these days. People study, they do their work on cell phones. We've removed all of that. The more than 200 taxes and fees that we removed, including D&I charges, VAT on exports and building materials, all of those VAT and taxes we removed completely, benefiting all of Guyana, putting back tens of billions of dollars in the pockets of the ordinary, the farmers, the household, every household, ordinary workers. This is where those resources go. The removal of those taxes costs the government because it is less tax you're collecting. But we are making that investment on the people's behalf so that we put back more money in their pocket. The removal of VAT on electricity, water, food, and medical supplies. Yes, you remember, in just over 3 years ago, food items, electricity, water, medical supplies all had VAT. It is this government in less than 3 years that removed the VAT from that. Who benefited? It is not the ordinary people and the people of this country who benefited. When that VAT is removed, who benefited? The electricity and water subsidies to pensioners. Yes, $50,000. We have introduced the subsidy back to pensioners. Who benefits? The pensioners of our country. The taxes and removal of the age restriction on vehicles. Who benefit again? Electric vehicles are completely free of import duties, excise tax and VAT. Duty on new motor vehicles below 1500 cc reduced from 45% to 35%. Vehicles 4 years older are subject now to a flat rate of tax. Who is it that benefits? Who are these policies? Who are the beneficiaries of the intent of these policies? It is the people. Every single Guyanese. The 20,000 scholarships by 2025. Already almost more than 15,000 persons are studying degrees, diplomas, certificates. This is an investment by the government to benefit who? The people of this country. $40,000 per month in old age pension by 2025. We are in progress of achieving that. From August 2020 to 2023, old age pension increased by 61%. Yes, 61%. Who benefited? These are things that we did in less than 3 years. The 50,000 new jobs. We are well on track of surpassing that when many doubted our ability to achieve it. The 13,000 part-time jobs in Region 2, 3, 5, 6, and 10 that is adding disposable income, new disposable income to families who did not have that income before. Who is it benefiting? When that disposable income is repaying monthly installments for low-income loans, who is it benefiting? This is what the government has been doing, putting more back in the pockets of people. The more than 2,500 CSOs who were rehired. Yes, you will recall. These are CSOs who were fired under the previous administration. It is this government who rehired those Amerindian CSOs. Who is benefiting? 2,500 Amerindian families from this one direct measure. Over 2,000 Gaisuku workers rehired. Yes. Editorials and editors, you forgot this? More than 2,000 rehired that were fired under the last administration in Gaisuku alone. Thousands of new jobs being created in the agriculture sector. By investing in call centers alone, we've created more than 1,200 new jobs, bringing in new investment. This is what we've been doing. This is the work that we've been doing. In housing, in achieving our 50,000 house lots, more than 25,000 house lots we've already allocated. Investing in people's welfare, giving them opportunity to own their own homes. Not only giving them the opportunity, but bringing down the interest rate. Today, a low-income interest rate is at 3.5%. This is what the government has done, delivering every day to the people of this country. In addition to that, we have initiated a program to accelerate home construction by giving cement and steel to support persons building their homes. Thousands of Guyanese have already benefited from the cement and steel subsidy. Who is benefiting from these initiatives? Who are the beneficiaries of this initiative? Yes, it is the people of our country. The public servant pay increase, almost 25% increase since 2020 at the end of 2022. We are reducing the cost of living through varied initiatives, reducing excise tax on fuel from 50% to zero. Yes, it is this government that responded to the increase in fuel costs by removing all the taxes, bringing it to zero, foregoing billions of dollars in revenue, helping the farmers by giving over $1 billion of subsidy in fertilizer. Who are benefiting? Who are benefiting from these investments and incentives that we have been giving to the people of this country? We have done a lot to increase disposable income. We distributed more than $7.5 billion in the COVID-19 relief grant. Citizens receiving $25,000 in every region. $7 billion distributed to farmers and households to recover from the May-June 2021 floods. A one-off cash payment of $250,000 each to more than 5,300 severed workers from Enmore, Skeldon, Rosehall and Wales, injected more than $1.3 billion into these communities. Increasing the income tax threshold from $65,000 to $75,000 in 2022, giving back to the taxpayers more than $1.3 billion, putting back more than $1.3 billion in the pockets of taxpayers. Increasing and restoring the school cash grant program, the special one-off $25,000 cash grant for families in the riverine areas, the one-off cash grant for the public servants, tens of billions of dollars we have injected back as disposable income directly into the pockets of the people, the working people of this country. Outside of this, we have initiated various measures to support the vulnerable. Old age pension increased from $20,000 to $28,000 per month, placing more than $6.5 billion additional resources in the pockets of our pensioners. Public assistance increased to $14,000, placing almost $1 billion additional dollars in the pockets of those persons receiving public assistance. Disposable income in the family has been increasing rapidly. We have provided an annual cash grant of $600,000 to every dialysis patient. $600,000 to every patient that needs dialysis. Where else is this happening? The editorial mysteriously and miraculously miss all of these facts. Let us question what was the intent. What was the intent? Who benefits from this? The $600,000 to every single person who needs dialysis. We have done tremendously well to improve and increase home ownership and support home construction. It is this government that zero-rated VAT on construction material. We increased the low-income mortgage loan ceiling from $8 million to $15 million. We increased the NBS ceiling from $12 million to $15 million. We increased the ceiling for mortgage interest relief from $15 million to $30 million. The mortgage interest relief. We assist house stock owners to secure loans up to $12 million. Putting on this program alone, reducing the cost of construction of home and home ownership, we have put back billions of dollars in the pocket of people. That is what we have been doing. Supporting every single Guyanese family. And every single house lot is heavily subsidized by the government. So when we invest and spend in building infrastructure and creating the house stock, we are creating value and equity that is 10, 20, 30, 40 times more than what the homeowner is paying for that land because of the subsidy we are putting in. When you create that added value, when you create that increase in the net worth of the asset they're acquiring, what are you doing? You're empowering them. You're empowering them. You're improving and increasing their net asset value. That you're empowering. That is what we do. That is how the policy works, and that is how it impacts the lives of people. We have initiated many programs to support agriculture. Yes. We have reversed the land lease fees, water charges, land taxes, and D&I charges back to the 2014 rates. We forget this. Yes, this government in the last 3 years that removed the VAT on fertilizer, pesticide, and key inputs in the poultry sector include zero rating the poultry industry, tax concession for agro-processing, cold storage and packaging, and special incentive for corn and soya production. That is why we're seeing such a boom in the agricultural sector. We have helped the poultry industry again, bringing down interest rate from 8% to 5%. Who benefits? Who are the beneficiaries? The consumer, the farmer, the investors in the poultry industry. We have removed VAT on machinery and equipment, on ATVs for mining, forestry, agriculture, manufacturing. We have removed VAT on the imports and allowing sawmillers to export logs. Who are these policies benefiting? The miners, those in the forestry sector. That is why you are seeing a re-energizing of the forestry sector, a re-energizing of mining, a re-energizing of agriculture. It is because of the policies that is giving people the opportunity. And who is it that these policies and these investments are benefiting? Whilst we are doing all of this, we have taken a number of measures to increase the competitiveness, promoting local content and creating jobs. We have removed VAT on commercial transport fleet, VAT on new trucks import, the VAT, 14% VAT on imports of new haulers for containers, removal of the 10% excise tax for import of new double back pickups under 2000 cc, reduce the excise tax from 110% to 75% on double cab pickups. Who are these policies benefiting? Who are the beneficiaries? Foregoing billions of dollars of revenue, putting hundreds of billions of dollars over the years back into the pocket of the people of this country. But that escape, that is somehow or the other, that escape the pen, the venomous pen of sometimes. And you question, what is the intent of that pen? When you try to communicate falsehood. And I can go on. You know, I don't like to keep you long on these slides, but I can go on and on. The first 100 days alone in office. In the first 100 days, we give $5 billion to every single Guyanese with a 25 household with a $25,000 COVID-19 grant. $150 million was paid out as risk allowance for our frontline health workers. We forget this. Our joint services are now receiving back again their annual 1-month bonus. In 2021, we paid $612 million in year-end tax-free bonuses for our healthcare workers. We paid a 7% across-the-board increase to all central government employees. This placed $10.5 billion in the hands of our 50,000 public servants, additional money. We paid 7.7% also to the sugar workers. As I said, we removed the VAT on basic construction material. Who benefited from all of these investments? Who benefited from all of these policies? It is the people of our country. So when I see these, what I will call venomous work of the ink and work of the pen, it requires us to be conscious of the environment, to be conscious of the destabilizers, to be conscious of the false narrative, and to understand what this government has been able to deliver in just 3 years. Now there are some concepts that we must understand that I want to spend some very brief moment outlining. There is a concept called net transferable value. What is a net transferable value? If you go all across the country now, you will see the value of real estate increasing. If you go to All Boys Song, where we did the new boulevard, in Alboystown and all the streets that we're doing there, in Barbies, in Linden, what do you think is occurring? There's a concept called the net transferable value. As the government improve infrastructure, improve drainage, give better roads, create new road networks, new highways, what happens? The value of property goes up. There's a transferable value that goes to the people in the community. When you have a new hotel going up in a region, a new stadium going up in a region, new athletic track going up in a region, investment in resorts, investment in new housing area, what do you think is happening? There's a transferable value. The tens of thousands of persons who are working in the housing sector, additional income. Those who are supplying the sand, the lorry workers, the truck drivers, the mechanics. So when the government invests in infrastructure, it is not that you're eating this, you will eat the school, but it creates what you call transferable value. There is a social value. There is something called economic good and a social good. The concept of what is an economic good and what is a social good must be understood. So you can have an appreciation of the impact of government programs and policies. So the concept of net transferable value is one in which the government investment increases the net value or adds to the value of individual communities and families. Now I can give an entire day understanding of this one concept, but that is briefly. The second concept is wealth creation. What is wealth creation? Wealth creation is when the government develop policies and programs that helps community, that opens up opportunity in communities for the advancement of wealth, the creation of wealth. Whether it's a small business grant, the support of to farmers through fertilizer, the swamp shrimp farmers in Barbies, the farmers in Baracara that we have opened up new lands for, the drainage work that we are doing to improve new land and increase new land so that people will have access to new land to do productive work. That is investment to create wealth. If you don't do it, the land would be left there idle. No wealth can be created. For us to transfer the raw land into opportunities for wealth creation, you have to put the investment in. The investment has to be made so that it opens up the opportunity for wealth creation by the private sector, by the people of the country. That's the second concept. The third concept is disposable income. If you want families to be uplifted out of poverty, if you want families to move up the strata of society, then you have to find ways in which you can improve their disposable income. So, when you remove the burden of the family to support health care, to support education, when you can get a free education through a gold scholarship, free degree through a gold scholarship, when you have increase for the pensioners, when you have the Because We Care grant, when you have the subsidy on sand and cement, when you have low interest rate by 3%, what you're doing? You're reducing the cost of the existing budget of that family, the budget, the pie of resources of that family. So what you do? You make more money, you free up more money, you free up more disposable income for other things. They may then decide to extend their house, to paint their house, or some you will free up income so that they can now save. It increases their propensity to save. So all these policies and programs to support the families enhance the disposable income. And then the fourth concept, and I will maybe go through some other concept later, but the fourth concept is value creation. How do we create value? You can't create value if you don't invest. But let me give you a simple example that people would not even realize. A simple program of the government, policy of the government, and how it affects people. Look at the CPL cricket. The concept of value creation. The CPL cricket, when it comes, what it does? It creates a stream of economic opportunity. Whether for the person who owns the bar down the road, the hotels, the persons who sell food, the restaurants, the value creation by these programs, the value creation in the housing program, the value creation in infrastructure program, the value creation in the education program. That is another concept that we have to understand. Then, what we term in new development studies, policy-driven investment, where the government pursues policies that are aimed at driving up investment. So you'll recall when we came into government, we advanced a policy to support investment in new hotels. Today we have some more than 7 new hotels already under construction. So this is where policies drive investment. And that is what you see the government has been doing. Creating policies to drive private capital, drive private investment. That is why you're seeing all across the country construction work going on. You're seeing all across the country investment by the private sector. This did not happen by accident. This happened by a very structured approach by the government, by the policy of the government to drive investment. These new hotels, what will they do? They will create thousands of new jobs. For who? The ordinary people, the Guyanese. It will create downstream benefit for the supermarkets, the butchers, the poultry industry, eggs, cleaning service. That is how things work. So the policies that we have developed is driving investment. Look at agriculture. Soon you'll be self-sufficient in corn and soya. Launching a new project now to be self-sufficient in black-eyed. These are the things, the policies that drive the investment. Investment in manufacturing, industrial development, agro-processing, the hospitality sector, new malls being built. These things are not by accident. Policy-driven investment. Now poultry, housing, construction. So my dear friends, I just wanted to take some moment this evening to give you a brief glance into the agenda of the government in the last few years and how we have delivered directly for every family and every Guyanese, and how the policies are shaped to create a stable, resilient, strong and sustainable economy and a prosperous future for every Guyanese. As always, God bless you and thank you for your time.